Welcome to In the Kitchen with Dinah. Today we're making homemade white bread.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Gonna taste good, I know.
Well, welcome to my kitchen. If you're new, thanks for joining me. I'm Dinah, and I'm glad you're in my kitchen with me today because somebody has to. So I'm going to share with you just a basic homemade white bread today. I've shared my whole wheat bread before, where you grind the wheat, and this white bread is just made with basic all-purpose flour, probably everything you have in your kitchen right now, making sure you have yeast. That would be the only specialty item. We're gonna need 2 cups of water, or you can use 2 cups of milk. I like using the milk just because it has a little higher fat content and it adds a little more flavor. So 2 cups. I'm just gonna stick it in my microwave for about 1.5 minutes. You want it to get to about 110 degrees. All right, so that's been in there for 1.5 minutes. I'm gonna just stick my thermometer in and tell you what it is at. It's just exactly at 100. So I just added 30 more seconds. Probably not gonna take that much time, but I do like that 110, 112 degrees is perfect. You just want it just wonderfully warm. Oh, see, there you go, perfection. All right, so put that in your mixer. If you're doing this by hand, this is super easy by hand. I actually taught this to multiple home ec classes at a school that my kids went to, I think to 8th graders, and they did this by hand. They did fabulous. All right, so we've got our 2 cups of warm milk or warm water. I've got 1/3 cup of sugar. It's gonna help feed our yeast. And then 1 package of yeast, and I'm just using Active Dry Yeast, or 2.5 teaspoons, so. I'm gonna just give it a zhuzh quick and let it sit and let that yeast activate. We'll be back in probably a minute. So like I said, I really like using milk. I use whole milk because that's what we drink. Some recipes call for non-fat dry milk, like powdered milk that you add to the water. So it just really makes for a delicious flavor in your bread. It's always fun to watch. Pretty soon they'll start burping. Oh, that is looking fabulous. You can see how foamy it is. It looks perfect. Let's add the rest of our ingredients. So now we are gonna add about 6 cups of all-purpose flour and add some salt and some butter. So I'm gonna add about 3 cups of all-purpose flour to this, and then we'll turn it on and we'll continue to add some more. Woo! Splash everywhere. 3. All right, so I've got 3 cups in here. I'm just gonna turn it on my 1. Right now I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of salt. And if it's over, that's okay, because you want salt in your bread. That looks good. I'm gonna add my softened butter. I've got 2 tablespoons of just soft butter. I had it soft, and our house is so cold today that it hardened back up. All right, so we got the butter in there. I'm gonna grab about 3 more cups of flour, and then we'll see what it looks like, because we're gonna either not add so much flour or add more flour, depending. So that was 4, 5. All right, so I've got 5 cups of flour in here. The other day I made this and I only needed 5.5 cups of flour. So we're just gonna take a look here. I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup more. You want your dough pulling away from the sides of your mixer. That looks, see how much flour I have? So I didn't even use my 6 cups. So we're just gonna let that knead and get all incorporated. You can see, I'm gonna pop the lid off. You can see how it's kind of coming together and getting absorbed. So I'm gonna set the timer for about 6 minutes, and we're gonna knead it just like this for 6 minutes. All right, so my timer just went off for the kneading. It was kneading for 6 minutes, and it looks really good. It's still a little sticky. So I've just got a gigantic glass bowl. I'm going to, so now we have to let it rise. So I'm gonna just put a little oil in the bottom. And I just get it spread around with my hand, because then I'm gonna reach in here and take the dough hook out. And then with the oil on your hands, then all that sticky dough doesn't stick to your hands. All right, see, everything's all clean. And my bowl is clean. Like, who even knew I made bread? So I'm just gonna knead it just a little with my hands here. It feels really good. It's nice and warm. It's all tender. Just gonna roll it around in the oil and get it coated like that. And to conserve the heat, some people just use a tea towel, which you totally can. I'm gonna use some Stretch Tight from the Costco's, and I'm gonna just do this, put it on top. We're gonna let this double in size, depending on how warm your house is. Our house is like 65 today because it's pretty cool. We got a beautiful fall day. It's probably gonna take at least an hour. If your house is warmer, it's gonna take a lot less time. You just don't wanna overdo it. So you just wanna make sure you double your dough in size. It can take probably an hour. So we'll be back then. I'm just gonna let this sit on the counter, and we'll see you when the dough is done risen. Well, welcome back. It's been about an hour. Our bread has doubled in size. It looks beautiful. Whoops, I need that. What am I doing? Hang on to your plastic. We need it one more time. Set that there. Okay, so I have 2 loaf pans, or just ordinary size loaf pans. We're gonna spray them really good, because we're gonna work our dough and then get it in the loaf pans. It has to rise one more time. Just punch the dough down. See all the air that comes out of it? The yeast is doing its job. I just kind of make it into a ball. I'm gonna cut it in half. I've got my kitchen scale. I try to get the 2 dough balls as uniform as I can to each other. So I'm gonna take my bench scraper, cut it in half. If you don't have one of these, just use a knife. It's totally good. 1.8, 1.8. Oh my gosh, they're perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of work the dough in my hand. If you wanna knead it, you can. Just don't wanna work it too much. So I'm going to kind of squish it out. Some people use a rolling pin for this. I just use my hands because the dough is nice and soft. And you want to get it kind of into a rectangle. So what I'm looking at is getting it about this wide, and then we're gonna roll it into the pan. Get some nice loaves going. So see how this is about the same. So I'm just gonna take it and roll it like that, and then I'm gonna pinch the dough together on the bottom and just set it in there just like that. And do one more.
It looks like you've done that before.
Just a couple times. Okay, here we go. I want my ends to turn out better. That looks about better. All right, so I'm just gonna leave these here on my counter. Use this, just cover it, and we'll be back when your dough gets just a little above the bread pan, and then we're gonna pop them in a 350-degree oven. So at this point, you could turn on your oven to 350 and get it preheating, because as soon as they're risen the second time, we're gonna pop them in the oven. So we'll be back when the dough has risen the second time. Well, welcome back. Hey, if you're still watching, give me a thumbs up, because this is a long time shooting. This is an all-day affair. So We have let our bread rise. It took an hour. We had some taco salads for lunch. And so I have got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. So we're gonna put the bread in. It could take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes depending on your oven. And I'll show you here. So we're gonna get these in the oven. And my bread rises a lot when it bakes. So I actually take the rack that was above these out because I've actually gotten bread stuck in there before because I didn't take it out. So note to yourself, don't get your bread stuck in the rack above if you have it. So I'm gonna go for 32 minutes and we'll be back. And those should be beautiful and golden brown and smelling delicious. All right, there is the timer. Look at those gorgeous loaves. Just gonna pop them onto our cooling rack. Whoa. Wow.
It's a bread-a-lanch.
It is a bread-a-lanch. All right, so these have cooked for, a half an hour. Look how beautiful they are. They get,
I heard it kind of release.
did you hear it release? There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, baby.
Now, if you want to know how you know that your bread is done, I just lift it over. You can stick a thermometer in here. It should get to like 190 degrees, or it's going to sound hollow like that. Then you know for sure it's done. So then I'm going to crack this one. They kind of get stuck on that upper lip of these bread pans for some reason. There we go. And I just let them cool like that. You'll want to let them cool for at least a half an hour before you slice into them. It is so hard to wait. Let me just tell you, it's so hard to wait. So I'm gonna let these cool for a half hour and then I'll bring you back and we'll come back and we'll slather some delicious things on them and have a bite of it. We'll see you then. Welcome back. My bread is all cool. It's just a tiny, tiny bit warm. I was gonna cut into one and show you guys how glorious this bread is. Cut off the heel. You guys call this the heel or the elbow? I've heard both, so comment below and tell me what you say. I say it's the heel. I always thought it was kind of funny to have an elbow. But look how beautiful this bread is. Oh my goodness. This bread is probably our very favorite sandwich bread. It's amazing with peanut butter and jelly, turkey, chicken salad I had on it this last week. It's Ken's very favorite sandwich bread too. So I'm just gonna cut some. We're gonna slather it in some butter and have a bite.
Someone else liked
And Denver heard the word butter.
You like that too, Danny. Oh my gosh, you like a bread and butter.
To say this breadboard, one of my customers made for me. He's a woodworker, so super nice. Yum. Here we go. It's so good, you guys. It is perfectly perfect in every way. It's soft, it stays together, it's not crummy, and it doesn't fall apart like a lot of breads do. So I hope you try this and I hope it works for you. Holler if you have any questions. I had a lot of comments and questions on my whole wheat bread. I was able to troubleshoot with a lot of you viewers, so let me know because I want you to have success making white bread, especially when it's all pantry ingredients. So thanks again for joining me today in my kitchen. I sure hope you enjoyed watching and learning how to make homemade white bread or the best sandwich bread ever. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and turn the bell on for notifications because we got more videos coming. And we'll see you out in the next episode. You guys have a terrific day.
10 seconds, quiet on the set.
Oh, time for his nap.
He's tired. We went out and played. Now he's tired. Sleepy papa.
And his eyes are just like, go shut.
Stop.
You can, I can.
check out what's coming up soon. Ooh.
They say, what's cluck cluck? Oh, stay tuned. Speak. Okay.
Oh boy, get some bread.
Gonna taste good, I know.
One last thing I wanted to share with you guys. This loaf, or my gosh, this loaf, this is a loaf. This recipe makes 2 loaves. If you wrap this in saran wrap, it does not fit in a Ziploc bag, so don't try that. Just wrap it a few times in saran wrap, pop it in your freezer, and it lasts for a few weeks in your freezer, and then you just pull it out if you've got soup, or you just want to use this for sandwiches during your week. I did want to tell you that. So, there you go.